2023 is here, and at least on paper, this is going to be the biggest year ever for Bethesda game studios. And when I mean biggest, I don't necessarily mean as far as sales figures go. I mean, that could also happen. But what I'm really talking about here is they are slated to release more new things this year than any other year for the company, at least as far as I can tell. Starfield, of course, is the big one, but also quite a few other things are on the way from Bethesda game studios, some of which are really good and exciting, and some of which you're definitely not going to like, and I think a fair few of you will get your pitchforks out for. So in this video, I want to catch you up on what should hopefully be an absolutely incredible year for Bethesda game studios, including some of the recent leaks and rumors around the company, like the January event. One of the really bizarre things about the Game Awards 2022 was the complete lack of presence by Xbox and Bethesda. Now, Xbox skipping one event isn't really that big of a deal, but what made it a bit crazier, a bit of a bigger deal, is the timing of it all. Xbox and Bethesda's Naughty E3 2022 was basically themed around all of the games shown here would be coming out in the next 1 year. So everything showcased would release by June 13th, 2023. And despite the fact that that still seems to be true, quite a few big ones don't have release dates. The new Minecraft games, Starfield, Redfall. And with the Game Awards being the last big event of the year, it just seemed like, okay, we'll get a bunch of release dates here, right? Except we didn't. But almost immediately after the Game Awards ended, we started to get some rumors that Xbox and Bethesda would instead be hosting a January reveal event to give updates on some of their projects, like Starfield, Redfall, and Forza. The first hint came from the VP of Game Marketing at Xbox saying on Twitter, "We will not have to wait long for what's next," trying to reassure fans that they seemingly had something in the works or some plan for something. Otherwise, typically the wait would be all the way until June, until E3 2023. But a bit more hopeful, shortly after that, we also heard from the very reliable Xbox insider Corden, where he said in an article that he heard some tentative and unverifiable rumors that Microsoft may be exploring some kind of event for Q1. And then we have the latest news from a random Reddit post. Yeah, things started off super reliable, but now we're getting to crazy random leaks territory. Either way, some guy on Reddit made a post saying that Redfall early access will come on April 28th with a full release on May 2nd, and how Starfield will likely launch before Redfall, and continuing on in a second post about how an Xbox showcase will occur in January, later this month, as well as some details on Tango Gameworks' new game, as well as new content for Ghostwire Tokyo. So in the leaked tier list, random Reddit post is pretty bad. I would actually say it's a step below random 4chan post, but this does have one thing going for it in that Corden did come back around to actually confirm that at least the Redfall release date does seem to be accurate from this post. But taking it all together, it does seem like there is at least a decent chance we get some kind of Xbox and Bethesda event in Q1 and potentially even in January. In just a couple of weeks, we could be seeing new details on all of these upcoming games. And what has added quite a bit of steam for this, especially in the Starfield community, is in the past couple of days, it seems like the support page for Starfield has gone live on Bethesda's website. Now, it's actually hard to tell if this was here before. As far as I can tell, this is a new thing that was just recently added, and some of the articles on here were definitely edited just today. And at face value, a support page for Starfield, not really that big of a deal. We could see it does reiterate a release date of the first half of 2022, and there's places for feedback to be provided on the game. But the big thing to make note of here is some of the entries on the sales of the game, such as support for purchasing the game and even support for getting a refund for your purchase, which is a bit of a big deal because technically, as of right now, you can't actually pre-order Starfield. So if the support page is going live, maybe that means an event is coming and pre-orders will be going live soon as well. So hopefully this means we'll be finding out more soon. But what will we actually be finding out about? Bethesda Game Studios specifically seems to have a pretty stacked 2023. And in my opinion, it's almost certainly going to kick off with some pretty big controversy. Skyrim is seemingly going to be getting a new update and DLC. I just recently covered this in a video, which I encourage you to check out for the full details on this. But the short version of that is there's a new branch of Skyrim on SteamDB, and this is labeled as Marketplace. It was added in November of 2022. If you combine this Marketplace listing with some of the recent quotes from Todd Howard and how he wants to help modders turn modding games into more of a career, as well as a former Creation Club member actually mentioning earlier in 2022 that Creation Club would be coming back in a different form, it seems like what Marketplace is going to be is a paid mod service for Skyrim, or at least that's my prediction. Again, I encourage you to watch the full video if you want all of the details on this. The naming marketplace doesn't really seem like a coincidence, as it'll likely be very similar to Minecraft Marketplace, where modders from the community can apply to join, and from there they could actually sell some of their mods or create things for this, and there's a profit share over how many things are sold. So though at this point I'm like 85% confident that this is a legit thing, it still is all speculation, and I do feel pretty confident that if this is legit, we'll see it released relatively early in 2023. I think this actually could be the first big release from Bethesda in 2023. I imagine it'll have a ton of backlash. It's going to be Bethesda's third attempt at paid mods, but who knows, maybe this time it'll be different. We technically don't even really know what kind of things will be included with this, although I certainly have my doubts over them pulling this off successfully. But another thing coming in 2023 that seemingly everyone has forgotten about is the Fallout 4 next-gen update. This is one of the strangest announcements to come in 2022 from Bethesda. There's a celebration for the 25th anniversary of Fallout, and just on one random post about this, we got a 2-sentence reveal of a Fallout 4 next-gen update coming in 2023. It's going to have some of the basics you expect from a next-gen update, 4K resolution support, as well as higher frame rates being officially supported, which there's not many details shared, but if this means you can properly play Fallout 4 with an unlocked FPS, with your FPS no longer being tied to the in-game physics system, that would be a huge update and incredibly handy. But what I found to be far more exciting was the reveal of this was having some bonus Creation Club content. So now this bonus Creation Club content could be a decently large deal, maybe. On one hand, it could just be some of the already released Creation Club content for Fallout 4 being released for free, but alternatively, do you remember Skyrim Anniversary Edition? When that launched, there was a ton of never-before-seen Creation Club content to release with it, and I think something similar will happen with the Fallout 4 next-gen update. The last time we got a proper and full Creation Club release was in late 2019. It's not entirely clear why Creation Club ended, but work actually continued on things for Creation Club after 2019. We heard how there was a targeted holiday 2022 launch for some new items, but that never actually happened, and although the post has since been taken down with the rest of Bethesda's forums, we also got an update in early 2021 that work was still being done on both the Fallout 4 and the Skyrim side. So of course, when it came to Skyrim, all of that Creation Club content seemed to get released with Anniversary Edition, but some of the stuff that was unreleased for Fallout 4 could be coming with this next-gen update. Now how big or how small or how many things are coming, completely unknown. But at the very least in 2023, it seems like there's a decent chance we actually get some new content from Fallout 4 in an official capacity from Bethesda. But speaking of Fallout, we also do have Fallout 76, which is very likely to begin to see a bit of a resurgence, or at least that's my prediction. Some big changes are coming to that game. The overpowered legacy weapons are likely to be removed, finally. This is supposed to come at the end of 2022. The update was delayed, so hopefully early in 2023 it will be released and the broken weapons will be removed. But also just recently, there have been some entries around mods being added to the game, finally. In the files, you can find listings like BNet mod categories to store filters mapping. This seemingly referring to Bethesda.net and mod categories, so perhaps we could start to see some cosmetic mods for Fallout 76 in 2023, which is exciting. I know though both of those things, legacy removal as well as mods, are long requested features for Fallout 76. The bigger deal is how much content the game is getting overall, as Fallout 76 has recently gotten several additional support studios added on top of it. Bethesda Game Studios is still seemingly the core studio at Bethesda working on the project, but the last major update that Fallout 76 got was Nuka World on Tour, and based on data mining, it seems like a lot of that content was actually created by Double 11. Double 11 was the support studio that was brought on either late in 2021 or early in 2022. Even beyond that, we recently found out that Sparrowsoft has been helping out with the game for a couple of years now, and also Skybox Labs appears to have come on to Fallout 76 in 2022 as well. There's actually been no official announcement around Skybox, but if you go on their website, you can see Fallout 76 listed, so seemingly they're working on the game. And to me, this is exciting because it could mean bigger updates more frequently, which is one of the biggest issues over the past couple of years for Fallout 76. If Nuka World on Tour was really made mostly by Double 11, Bethesda Game Studios Austin has been working on something for some months now. And then there's also whatever Skybox is working on. Perhaps they're just helping out with the other updates, or maybe there's even a third team working on something else. It's not entirely clear, but 2023 could definitely end up being one of the biggest years in a long time for Fallout 76. I know though, it's not going to be directly from Bethesda Bethesda Game Studios, we also have to mention the Fallout TV show. It seems very likely we at least get a trailer and potentially even just the full release of the show in 2023. Much of the filming went on throughout 2022. I made a bunch of videos on it. We saw set photos, leaks, even videos of some of the sets. Right at the end of the year, we got the first official teaser photo of the show. So more details on the show are almost a given for this year, but again, it seems pretty plausible that we could actually get the release of the show later in 2023, and there could be some nice possibilities with a cool tie-in to Fallout 76 to go along with that. And overall, despite a new Fallout game still likely being years upon years away, it seems like 2023 may end up being one of the biggest years for Fallout content since 2018 with the release of Fallout 76. Although, even beyond that, we also do have this mobile game that Todd Howard just talked about.
And we have a new mobile game that we're working on that we haven't announced yet that I'm in love with.
Back in 2018, Todd Howard mentioned during an interview how he wants Bethesda going forward to always be working on some kind of mobile game. The same way they're always working on a AAA game, he wanted to treat mobile games the same way. It seems like that was a big reason we saw Bethesda Game Studios Montreal get added to the company. But if they stuck to that, it's definitely been pretty quiet, because the last mobile game we saw from Bethesda was The Elder Scrolls Blades in 2019. But this new mobile game that Todd is in love with is very likely Spy Team. This is a trademark that was filed a while ago, and Heavy008 on Reset Era said this was a pet project of Todd's. It was being prototyped by Bethesda Game Studios Dallas before they were put on Starfield, and outside of that, we don't really know much. Heavy008 was confirmed to be a former Bethesda Game Studios employee who just really didn't understand how an NDA worked. But whatever Spy Team ends up being, if that even is this mobile game Todd Howard is in love with, there aren't really any other details around it. The naming of Spy Team definitely makes it sound like it's a new IP, not tying into Starfield as many people suspected, but rather some other standalone project. Although with how long they've seemingly been working on this game, it seems pretty plausible that it could end up coming out in 2023 as well. But of course, the final major reason 2023 will be massive for Bethesda is Starfield itself, which is shaping up to be a simply huge experience. The lines of dialogue in particular, I think, are the big clue that something special is coming here. Starfield's going to have more lines of dialogue than Fallout 4 and Skyrim combined. And that's without a voiced protagonist, which of course is a ton of that Fallout 4 dialogue. We don't currently have a concrete release date for Starfield, but if their previously stated release window is true, we'll be playing the game in less than 6 months. It's assumed that Starfield would be the center of a potential Q1 or January showcase from Xbox, and frankly, I think that makes a ton of sense. And who knows, maybe the release date isn't even at the end of that 6-month window, but maybe it's something like March or April, in which case we're just a couple of months away from getting to finally experience this game. Hopefully in this video I made it abundantly clear why 2023 is shaping up to be insane and massive for Bethesda Game Studios. They have an unprecedented number of releases slated for this year, to the point where I think we'll likely be talking about something that came out every couple of months. Some of these will of course be pretty small, like Fallout 4's next-gen update or even paid mods for Skyrim, but then you also have some of the big ones like Starfield that is just looming there, coming out at some point soon. And although I'm really just focusing on Bethesda Game Studios specifically here, there's a lot of other stuff to get excited for in the broader ZeniMax umbrella. We may finally start to see and hear something about this Indiana Jones game that Todd Howard is working on along with Machine Games, or even this new ZeniMax Online Studios MMO that reportedly has been in the works for over 5 years already. And thankfully, if some of this information is true, then we'll probably start to hear more very soon. Just a few weeks from now, we'll likely get a showcase confirmed date. With that said though, hopefully you guys found this one informative. If you want to keep up to date with all of this, you can get subscribed. I'll of course be covering everything I just talked about when it actually does get talked about by Bethesda officially. But with that, I thank you all again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.